So now that we've covered tension, now let's talk about speed control. Just like I said before, driving your sewing machine is just like driving a car. And we don't drive 70 miles an hour through highways, byways, and school zones, do we? No, we definitely don't. We've got to learn that there are different speeds on our sewing machine, just like there are different speeds on our car. And I'm going to give you some good tips for finding all of those different speeds in your foot pedal. First off, when you're sewing, I always sew barefoot or just with socks on. This gives you more control and feel over the different speeds within your foot pedal. I also raise up my heel with a telephone book so that more of my foot is squarely on top of the foot pedal than off of it. Sometimes the reason that we feel like there's only 2 speeds on our machine is because we don't like all of the angles that our foot in our ankle is having to kind of twist at whenever we're doing all of the middle speeds. We want to just floor our foot to the floor because that's what's comfortable. Raising up your heel will really help with that ankle problem, and you can use a thicker telephone book, whatever feels comfortable for you. There are many speeds for your sewing machine, and it's really important to try and find all of them. The best thing that you can do is, again, take a little sample square and play with your machine. Start out going really slow, like turtle slow, and then speed up and be going as fast as you can, pedal to the metal. Get a good idea for how fast and how slow your machine can stitch. Then start trying to stitch lines of stitching that go from medium to fast, fast to medium, medium to slow, slow to medium. Try finding that variation in speed. Try moving from one speed to another and get used to doing that, because sometimes in free motion quilting you'll change your speed just doing a loop, and then go the other way, you'll slow down. You need to be able to change your speed on, basically on the fly, just like we do with our car, because it's the exact same way. You never know when you're going to need a turn, you never know when you're going to need a stop, and you need to be able to vary your speed at any point in time. I get a lot of questions about stitch regulators. Stitch regulators are electronic gizmos that go on your machine in place of your foot pedal and basically try and regulate the speed of your machine versus the speed of your hands. It's a good idea on paper, but my personal opinion is that there is no stitch regulator better than the one that's already built into your brain, your hands, and your feet. I really truly believe that you can get a much, much better fine-tuned control over your speed and movement by using your foot pedal. Stitch regulators just simply are not as smart as you. You know when you're going to be changing direction and you need to speed up, but the stitch regulator doesn't. And oftentimes when I see the stitches produced by a quilter that's using a stitch regulator, you can see the areas where the stitches get really, really wide and really, really tiny because the stitch regulator just isn't regulating very well. You are infinitely smarter than a stitch regulator, and I truly believe that you can gain control and find the balance with the speed and movement of your machine. Finally, the best way to learn how to get this balance and find all of those different levels of speed within your machine is to practice. I really can't say any more than that. You've just got to quilt some quilts, and it will eventually start to just kind of appear in your quilting. You'll suddenly start finding, wow, I'm stitching at 25 miles an hour, and wow, I just moved on up to 45 miles an hour. I'm going from medium to fast and fast to medium, and I'm able to find all of these different speeds within my machine. So definitely take my advice and practice, practice, practice.